Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Marone here. Welcome into lesson 4.4. So we're like right in the heart of triangle congruence. You've seen side, 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 and you've seen side, angle, side. We're going to look at two other ones today that are general with just sides and angles. And the naming is going to go the same way. So when you see these names, all the S's stand for sides, all the A's stand for angles. So the first thing we're going to do is bring back the conversation of inclusion that we had last time. We talked about included angles last time. Now we're going to talk about included sides. And it's the same exact thing. The side between two sets of congruent angles is going to be considered an included side. So if we look at these two questions here, based on this picture, they want to know what's the included side between angle Y and angle W. It's this segment here, that's segment YW. And if we look at the next one where it says what's the segment between angles X and W, it's the segment XW. So they're very easy to label. The included side would be right there for that example. So we're going to look at two different types of congruence that uses this idea. The first one is ASA congruence. And if we think about our naming, ASA is angle, side, angle. So if we have two angles and the included side of one triangle congruent to two angles and the included side of another, then we have triangle congruence. So in this case, because I have two sets of congruent angles with that side in between them congruent, I have triangle congruence. And then the other one that's here is called AAS, angle, angle, side. And then this says that if there are two angles and the non-included side of one triangle congruent to two angles and the non-included side of another triangle, then they're congruent. People often ask why these two exist and why we can do angle, angle, side more than anything. If we think back to when we started with triangles, if I gave you two triangles and I told you this angle was 40 and this angle was 80, and I gave you this triangle and I told you this angle was 40 and this angle was 80, each of them have a sum so far of 120. Every triangle has a sum of 180 degrees inside with their angles. So if I had 120, that means that this angle and this angle are both going to be 60. In other words, the third angles are going to be congruent as well. So really what we have here is I can say that angle A is congruent to angle D, and then I have angle, side, angle here. So these are really interchangeable because of that third angle being congruent. Based on what the picture gives you, you can use angle, angle, side. And it looks like that with two angles and then a side outside. But know that it's really the same thing as angle, side, angle. Okay? And the way we read this is just starting on an outside piece and working through. So angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. So here's just some practice. This is a quick hitter. I want you to look at these pictures and what's given, and I want you to try to figure out what type of congruence exists here. I'm going to pause the video and let you guys try practices 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to come back in and talk through them. All right, welcome back in. So in the first one, they gave us three pieces of information, three sets of congruent sides. When we mark that out, it's very easy to see that we have side, side, side congruence. Like I told you guys, this is the easiest one to see because it's just sides. In the second figure, they gave us two sets of congruent angles. They marked them with one tick mark and two tick marks. We have this shared side, and that's that reflexive property that keeps creeping up. Because that segment is congruent to itself, we have angle, side, angle here. In 3, they gave us these two sets of this set of congruent angles, W and R, and they told us that WQ and RT were congruent. This angle in the middle is bringing back another concept that we keep coming back to, and that's vertical angles. So with that, because they share that vertex, those two angles are vertical that I marked, WEQ and RET. So I have angle, angle, side for this one. And then in the second, or in this last one, they told us that line BD bisected the angle, meaning it split it into two equal parts. So I have two congruent angles there. A and C are congruent, and BD is a shared side again. It's that reflexive property that's going to keep popping up. So with that, we have angle, angle, side as well. So those are the other two big congruence theorems. We're going to dig into the fifth one next lesson. But for right now, I just want you to be comfortable with these four If you have any questions, be sure to bring them into school, and we will talk then. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.